Hi, thanks for joining me today. The topic is communicating with animal spirits, and I've got some of my friends here with me to present this to you today. Before we get started, a special hello to my listeners in Blainville, Quebec. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you supporting the show, and let me know if there's a topic you'd like me to cover. Let's jump into this. This is really not so much about communicating with animal spirits as in like the Native American culture, but much more about your pets that have crossed over that you dearly love and you're missing so much. And it might be a dog, cat, rabbit, bird, whatever it may be. There's pets of all different sorts. And if you're feeling the tug at your heart, then this episode is for you. I've said before on plenty of episodes and definitely to plenty of clients, like my ultimate goal as a medium is to be able to help so many people communicate with their loved ones, whether it's people or animal spirit, that they don't need me as a medium anymore. They don't need any medium, that you have that direct communication with your loved ones. So today is going to be about how you can communicate directly with your beloved deceased pets. It's painful. I mean, so many people, your pet is a family member, and I know plenty of people who love pets more than they love humans. And when they leave, it just leaves such a hole in the heart and lives of those who cared for them. There's a lot of people who consider a pet as their attachment figure. And pets carry an energy of complete and unconditional love for their owners. And it's rare to find that in a human. So they do give something most humans cannot give. Do you know animals have strong psychic abilities and they're sensitive to the emotions and vibrations of their owners? Most often, the owners share a particular telepathic link or an intuitive bond that's irreplaceable, and it's a tough loss to accept after their pet's death. It may be difficult to express to other people the connection that you shared with your pet. The grief when you lose a pet can sometimes leave you feeling just kind of flattened and empty, especially if that pet passed earlier than expected. And as we start to open our minds as a society, more and more people are experiencing paranormal activities, such as their pets coming through in spirit form and with strong presence. And we call these animals, some people call these animal spirits phantomals. I do not, but I think it's funny, like phantomals with a P, showing that there are ways to communicate with pets after their death. Briefly, I want to tell you that I can't have furry pets. As a child, I had cats. I had so many cats. I slept with them. I dressed them up. I put my face in their fur. And then my mother had me tested and found out that was the source of my allergies and sinus issues and ear infections. And the cats had to go bye-bye. And later we had dogs, and I even had horses later, tremendously allergic. So I can't have any furred or feathered pets, which is really sad for me. However, other people's pets come to visit me. Sometimes it's pets of people that I've done readings for, particularly mediumship readings, and their pets come through. And then later, in the middle of the night, I'll feel there's a very distinct feeling of a dog or a cat jumping up on the bed, walking around in a circle and kind of cuddling up next to my leg. And it's very comforting to me. I feel like I get to have a beautiful little soft furry pet vicariously that way. And I love it. When I'm doing readings, as humans are coming, human spirits are coming through to make themselves known, so do pets. And sometimes dogs especially will do something funny, like bound across my vision, where I just see this little white dog go flying across. I'm like, there's a dog here. And they'll start crying. I'm like, yeah, it's a little white dog. It's got a curly little perky tail, full of energy, almost jumped vertically. And they'll know exactly who that was. Sometimes spirit will just show me their life on the other side, and they'll show me that there's a lot of animals there with them. And it'll turn out that the type of animals that are with them are the animals they had in their lifetime too. So, where we go, animals go. So why wouldn't they come through, right? I want to eventually, like at the end of this episode, I'll be sharing with you the signs that you can recognize to know that you are being successful with communicating with your pet, that they are coming through to you, trying to get your attention. But before we do that, I thought it would be good to give you some useful information on how you can communicate with pets. So number one would be visit their grave site, or if you have their ashes, just hold their ashes. You could have a particular grave site prepared for them, and if you visit there often, their remains and their memory hold a special connection to them. So it may call their spirit in. It doesn't take much. I know with humans, if you think about them, look at a picture of them, talk about them, spirit comes right in. I think pets are very much the same. So going to a place like that would help. Holding a favorite toy that they had. Sometimes people will bring pets toys to their mediumship readings with them, and that's great, because just like having a physical item that a human spirit had, it can help to have a toy of a pet or their blanket or something like that. A pet's energy can linger after their passing, and their scent might remain on the item they played with or an area where they hung out. And whether that's a special toy or a specific place on a couch, holding on to that item or sitting on that place on the couch can help you connect to your pet and communicate with them. The closer you feel to them, the more that their spirit's coming through. And you'll learn more about that as we go on today. 3, keep their ashes close. Some owners choose to cremate their pets, and by keeping their ashes, you're holding on to a part of them. Placing their ashes in a particular place that's important to you not only helps you grieve and hold on to their memory, but this act will also be a sentimental value for you. Your pet spirit will be able to feel their body in the ashes as they pass to the other side, and they might come to visit you and communicate with you. There's some really great, it was amazing to me. A friend of mine turned me on to this. I knew that there were a lot of items you could have humans' ashes made into to carry with you, or hold on to just a piece of your loved one, have them near. And they do that for pets as well. There's some links to that in the shop of my main website, ivoryangelicmedium.com, to give you an idea, like Christmas ornaments and keychains. And I think that's so beautiful, because it's nice if you are really feeling that hole in your heart and you're missing your pet. It's so lovely to be able to carry a piece of them with you. The 4th thing would be visit places you both loved. It could be part of the routine. It could be their favorite park, a favorite place in the yard. I know my sister's dogs have a place on their property up north in the Pines that is like their favorite spot to play. So it would be something like that, like something that was a place that was special for the dog, and particularly, or a pet, I should say pet, not just dogs, or a special place particularly that was special for both of you, something you did together. By visiting those kind of sites that you shared, you can continue to grieve, but communicate with your pet and send energy their way. You're letting them know you are very much alive in my heart. I want to communicate with you. I am seeking communication from you. And you're showing them you haven't forgotten them. All kinds of spirit, human or pet, love knowing that you remember them, that they're thought of frequently. Number 5 is meditate on their behalf. And that just means before you do meditation of any kind, that you are setting an intention. I am clearing my mind and I'm doing this meditation to communicate with you. So any kind of meditation just helps you clear your mind, still your body, makes you more receptive, which is very good when you're trying to do afterlife communications of any kind. So you can often recreate a story with your pet through meditation and allow yourself to be open to the messages that come through with your pet, just whatever they want. Don't try to let go of preconceived notions of what they'll show you, what they'll do, and just let them give you the message they want. Your pet can take you on quite a magical journey that way. Number 6 is perform a ritual. We're not talking about magic tricks. It's any kind of like ancient cultures practice rituals to worship and communicate with animals. And they would often undertake a spiritual journey that connects them to animal spirits, and they would act as guides and messengers for people. They use natural elements to communicate with animals who are on the other side. And you can connect with your pet by performing a simple ritual like lighting a candle, praying, holding crystals and saying a prayer, and being out in nature and just really thinking about all the wonderful times with your pet, the things you loved about them most. We are connected, we humans and animals, through nature's elements. Thus, we are one energetically. Number 7, dream about your pet. Maybe easier said than done, right? Dreams help us connect to the spirit world, though we're more open, more receptive in the dream state. It's often how we can visit our loved ones and our pets that have passed on to the other side. The realm of that in-between connections to all types of spiritual beings is possible there. So particularly when you're in the act of falling asleep and in the process of waking up, you might really receive some great messages. A simple trick is to focus on thinking about your pet just before you go to sleep. This signals them to meet you in your dream state, allowing them to spend time with you, communicate with you. I'll talk more about that later in this episode. Number 8, write about your pet in your journal. You know, I am very much into journaling. I highly recommend it. Writing in your journal and connecting to the best memories of your pet is really a beautiful way to build that connection with them after their death. Not only is this a therapeutic way that allows you to release pain that you're carrying from within, but it also triggers automatic writing. And automatic writing is a psychic ability that channels information from spirit and allows it to come out on paper. You might be surprised to see what you write down and realize that you're communicating with your pet from the spirit realm. I recommend looking up articles on that, and they, to me, in my opinion, most articles and books do not put enough emphasis on spiritual protection before doing automatic writing, and it's very important. So you'd want to call in the archangels and do some prayers after that to create sacred space, so it really is just the spirit of your pet coming through. Number 9, you can connect through tarot. I particularly do not do tarot. I've had a couple tarot readings. It's a practice where you can connect to your pet through mediumship. Tarot is a mirror to the soul. You can connect to your pet by seeking answers from within. Often those close to us live within certain aspects of our own personalities. Thus, by connecting with tarot cards, you can find out what your pet thinks, feels, and wants to say to you after death. It's a great practice that will develop a special moment of mindfulness and help you connect deeply with your intuition. And frankly, I'm much more into oracle cards than I am tarot. I don't own tarot cards, but oracle cards with the minimal words on them where you can just say to your pet, look at their face, their spirit comes in, and then you're going to say, help me pull a card that expresses something you want to say to me today. Pull a card and see what you get from that card. Number 10, the last resort would be if you're not able to make a connection on your own, you might want to see a pet psychic. There are people who specialize, they only channel pets, and they can give messages. I definitely get pets coming through. I don't consider myself a pet psychic, but pets come through just like people do. So if you're getting stuck and you really need to hear from your pet, please pursue that. I do have a recommendation on my links page of my website. Again, that's ivoryangelicmedium.com, for a person I personally know who really focuses on pets and is dynamite with that. So I want to just bring this up. If you've recently lost a pet, there's many signs to look out for when you're trying to deepen that connection with your pet and they've crossed. Whatever way of communication you choose to use, you allow yourself to be present, conscious, focused, and deeply aware of your thoughts and emotions. It's interesting because, as I said, you're focusing and yet you're relaxing and releasing at the same time. Takes practice. The sensations that come through, such as goosebumps or a feeling of being uplifted, feeling a strong sense of presence, are clear signs your pet is communicating with you. And at times you could hear them speaking, barking, purring, making their little chompy noises, moving their feet on the ground. My sister's dogs have a very distinct clip, clip, clip sound when they walk on a wood floor. I'm sure I'll hear that from them when they pass on. If you're still unsure of your ways of communication, if they're reaching your pet, then again, you might want to talk to a pet psychic as you continue to work on your own skills. It's always best, if you can get to a point where you communicate directly. Of course, that's what your pets want. So I'm going to get into, I don't know if I'll be able to cover all of them here, but the afterlife signs from your pet. So these are concrete signs that you're having success, that your pet is indeed coming through, or if you haven't even tried yet, that your pet's been trying to get your attention to let you know they're with you. People will say things like, oh, everything will be okay. You did everything you could. You love them so much. And that's great. And it's lovely. But all you really want is a sign from your pet. You just want to know that they're near and that they're okay, that they know you love them. And maybe you keep thinking, how am I going to move forward and live with this loss? So I think it's good to express your feelings and your pain. If you don't have a person to talk to, you can go to a support group, but you can journal it too. And that is a way of sharing your pain, your emotions. Know that even though it's hard right now, you are not alone. It's possible to live and move forward from this loss. And it's not about moving on. It's just going on. Sometimes you just have to go through the motions until you start feeling better. So acknowledge the loss and the love. Treasure the time that you had with this beautiful pet. And remember to look around you and look for signs that they are near. It will heal your heart just knowing they're near. You are stronger than you know. This time of grief is an opportunity for you to look at the world differently. This is a new appreciation for life and this beautiful place that your pet was so happy to share with you. So try to look at this world the way that your pet did. Look around and you will start to see signs that they are near, visiting you from the afterlife. The first way that they may let you know is sounds, and I mentioned it a little bit a few minutes ago. You might hear your pet's collar jingle as it used to when they were walking around or shaking themselves, they do. You might hear a thudding sound like a tail thumping against a wall or thumping against the floor. The clip, clip, clip of their nails on the floor, as I mentioned a moment ago. You could hear barks, cries, munching, whimpering. You could hear a song come on the radio or on your Alexa, whatever, that reminds you of them. Or maybe you got a song that randomly gets stuck in your head and it's time to really sit down and take a look at the lyrics. What does that say? How does that pertain to your pet? Another one is feelings that you might get. So you could feel them brush up against your leg. You might feel them like it feels like suddenly there's a pressure on your lap, like they're sitting there. Like I told you, unknown pets jumping up on my bed and walking around and settling themselves down and sleeping next to me. Your pets can do that, and I'm sure they are. The thing you want to do is get to the point where you know they're doing that. It can also be a sudden change in temperature around you as a sign that they're near. It can be cooler. And if you find a warm spot in a place that they used to curl up in, that's another sign for you. A happy memory about your pet popping into your mind out of the blue. They're just sending that to you because they know you're sad and they want to remind you of the joy you shared together. You might come across a pet that reminds you so much of your pet. It could be the way it looks, it could be its personality, an expression on its face, but that is sent to you by your pet as well. Just a, hey, I'm here, I'm still here, I'm not gone from you. Another kind of sign would be in the sky, literally in the sky. Look at the clouds. The clouds may make an image or a line formation that reminds you of a pet. I've actually seen, when I was a little girl, we had a poodle named Peppy. I was in junior high. and Peppy passed on, and I did see a cloud that looked exactly like Peppy. Like, I mean, it had the little poodle cut, and it made me tear up. It just was so sweet to see that shortly after Peppy died. You can also see a beautiful rainbow when you're thinking of your pet, and that's them saying hello and letting you know they're thriving and joyful on the other side. Another way is dreams. We talked about it briefly before, but a dream visitation, you may have heard of that with human spirit. It happens with pets too. And that's where the pet comes to you while you're dreaming and you can see them, you touch them, and it's the closest you can get to them being alive again that you'll have until you cross as well. You could see their face in a dream, and that's them just sending you a hello. You could hear them bark, meow, whatever noises your pet made. You could hear that very clearly in a dream. It might wake you up because you're coming out of sleep anyway, and it's easier for them to get that message through to you. The next one would be animals. You know, animals for animal sign. When you see a bird, it's a sign of freedom. Common birds to start seeing after a passing of a pet too would be blue jays, red robins, cardinals, and goldfinches. And you might notice dragonflies and butterflies. These are signs from your pet too, asking you to embrace change, letting you know you're going to be fine. Things are different, you're grieving, but you're not going to be grieving forever. Ladybugs might start appearing as a reminder to live your life to the fullest. Your pets want you to go on with joy. Keep an eye on the behavior of your other pets. You may notice them focusing on something you can't see. They might bark or meow or hiss or just stare at it. I've seen animals do this so often, just stare at a spot in the corner. Even playing with what looks like something, but looks like they're playing by themselves, but they're swatting at something you can't see, and they're playing with your deceased pet. And especially if that living pet had a close relationship, enjoyed playing with your deceased pet, they'll still get together and play. I have more to share with you. I'm going to have to finish that over on Patreon for the sake of time. Remember that you can come over and enjoy a lot of information for free. You don't have to pay to join to see some of what I post. And if you want to see everything for a week, you get a free week to see if it's something beneficial for you. I want to make sure there's something for everybody, no matter what your financial situation is. I don't want that to rule you out. Please tune in next Sunday. The topic is angels are non-denominational. I think that you'll enjoy that. In the meantime, may your angels surround you. May your angels protect you every moment, every day of your life. I'll see you next week.